What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to build a Tic Tac Toe game with Tkinter and Python. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to build a Tic Tac Toe game. But before we get started, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with hundreds of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. That's all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee at just $49, which is insanely cheap. Alright, I know in the last few videos we've been working on this text editor, but frankly I'm getting a little bored with it, so I thought we'd take a little break and build a fun little tic-tac-toe game. Like I said in the last video, we're still remodeling the office, so things are a little bit weird still. Video might not be perfect, the sound might be a little off. Just bear with me for another couple of days, we'll get it all sorted out, and hopefully it'll be back to normal or even better. So, like I said, we're going to build this tic-tac-toe game, very basic game, but it should be a lot of fun. You see X's and O's, we've got a winner, we got a little pop-up message that comes up when we win, and it's a lot of fun. We've got options, we can reset, start over, do all the things. We win. So, all right, that's what we're going to do in this video. So first things first, we got our basic Tkinter starter code that we always have. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And the one thing that I did different right away is I commented out our geometry. Usually we're very specific about the size of our app. In this video, I just wanted to automatically size to the size of the buttons that we use for our X's and O's. So I just commented this out. Next, we're gonna pop up a message whenever you win or do something stupid like try and click on a thing that's already been X'd or O'd. So we need message box. So let's go from Tkinter import message box. And we've used message boxes tons of times before. Check the comment section below for the link to the playlist for other videos on message boxes. So, all right, let's start out. Let's build our buttons. And so we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 buttons, right? For our tic-tac-toe grid. So I'm just gonna call them B1 through B9. And each of these is gonna be a button. And they're gonna be in root. And we want the text to start out as nothing. So I'll just put a space here. Notice there's an actual space, right? And let's give this a font. So let's go font equals. And we usually do Helvetica. That works for me. And let's make them real big. So like font size 20, right? And let's give these a height of, let's say, I don't know, 3 and a width, TH, of like 6. And then let's pick a background color. Now, we just want the default color. And this is going to be important because when we win, we're going to turn all the winning buttons red. So when we want to start over again, we want to define the system color. So to do that on Windows, it's, let's see, it would be system button face. I'm not sure that that's the same on a Mac. If it's different on a Mac, you might just put silver or gray, or pick a white for your button color, whatever you want, but I'll let you figure that out. And then finally, we want a command. So what we want to do is we're going to determine if a thing has been clicked, and when we run the function, we want to know if it's already been clicked. So we need to pass in the button itself. So we've never really done that, but we need a lambda to pass anything into a function. So let's go lambda, and then we'll just call this b_click, this function, and we want to pass in the button itself, which is just what we named it right here. And this will make sense in just a minute. So, okay, we'll have to create this. Oh, let's just go ahead and create it now while we're thinking about it. Button clicked function, and let's define b clicked, and let's create a variable called b for button. We'll look at that later, and we'll just pass for now. So, okay, this is our button 1. So we need 9 of these things. So let's go 1, 2, 3. Oops. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I put some spaces between them just so we can make sense of these. So let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we got to do the same thing over here. So let's go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so let's grid our buttons to the screen. And this is just going to be b1.grid. And we want to put this in row 0, column 0. And there's 9 of these. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And just again, come through here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this will be column 0, 1, 2. This will be 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And this will be row 1, 1, 1. And this will be row 2, 2, oops, 2. Okay, so let's save this and run it just to see what this looks like. So this is toe.py. So let's go Python toe.py. And when we do, we see we've got this nice kind of setup, little tic-tac-toe thing. We can click our buttons and nothing actually happens. So, okay, looking good. So far, so good. So let's come up here to the top and let's define who goes first. So let's go x starts so true. And let's create a variable called clicked and set that equal to true. Let's also create a count while we're at it and set that equal to 0. And we'll see why this is important going forward. This should be a capital T in true. So what we need to do is when somebody clicks, this will toggle back and forth from true and false. So if it's true, it means X is clicking. If it's false, it means it's time for O to click. And that's how we'll sort of keep track of who went last, right? And the game will start out true, so it means the first person to click will be X. And this will make sense in a second. So let's head over to our clicked function here. And we need to keep track of these two guys inside of here. So let's make them global. And let's go clicked and count. Every time I use global variables, somebody says, I heard you're not supposed to use global variables. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Whoever told you that years and years ago was wrong. So, all right. So first, we need to see when somebody clicks on a button, we need to say, hey, has anybody actually clicked on that button yet? Is it blank? So we can check with an if statement for that. So let's go if B, and remember we passed B in, which is our button. So we're passing the entire button into the function. We've never really done that before, but that's how we can pass in entire widgets into functions if we want. So we can see, remember when we do things like label.config text equals something. Well, this text you can grab by using square brackets like this, and it needs to be in quotation marks. So whatever this text is the same as this, or in this case, it would be b.config, right? So we can use an if statement for those. So we can go if b.text, if the text equals nothing, right? They start out at nothing. We define that right here. So if they do nothing, and let's say clicked equals true, remember this clicked variable, clicked true means X is going, it's X's turn, right? So if somebody clicks a button and it's empty, and that person clicking is clicked true, meaning X, that means X is trying to make X the button, right? So if that's the case, then we can set B, let's say text to equal X. If that's the case, X has gone. So now clicked needs to be changed to false. So we know it's now O's turn, right? So we can set clicked to false. And we need to keep track of this. So count plus equals 1. Remember, count started out at 0. We need to keep track of how many moves there are, because after 9 moves, the game has to end because there aren't any spaces open. So we need to know if there's a tie, if nobody's won in 9 moves, well, we need to know if there have been 9 moves. So every time somebody makes a move, we add 1 to the count, right? Make sense? And then we'll also later check if 1. We'll do that in a minute. So, okay, that works for true. Now we need an elif statement. So elif, and then let me just copy this whole thing. If b.text is nothing and clicked equals false, right? So if clicked equals false, that means O is going right now. So if somebody clicks on a thing while clicked equals false, that means they're trying to put an O in the button. So we can do that. We can just, well, let's just copy this and set that equal to O, right? And then we need to then switch clicked to true and make make our count plus equal 1. Add 1 to the count. So if somebody clicks on a button and it doesn't have anything in it, right? We're either going to put an X and an O. What if somebody clicks on a button and it already has an X or an O? Well, we can come down here and then use an else statement to deal with that. So else, let's create a message box. So message box, can't talk this morning. And let's go show error. There's a bunch of message boxes you can use. Show info, show error. This is sort of an error. Somebody's clicking on something that they shouldn't be clicking on. There's already an O in that spot, or there's already an X in that spot. So you shouldn't be clicking on it. So we're gonna show an error message. It'll go make a big noise, right? And so for the title of our error message, let's go Tic Tac Toe. And for the actual message itself, let's go something like, hey, that box has already been selected. And let's put a line space, new line, and let's go pick another box. Okay, so let's save this and run it and see how we're doing so far. So toe.py, zoop. So, oh, X, O, click this again. Oh, we get this message. Hey, that box has already been selected. Pick another box, right? Go like this, keep going. All right, so we need some more logic to figure out if the game has ended. We also need logic to see if somebody won or not. Because look, ooh, we won right there. We didn't even realize it. So, okay, let's start to work on that now. So let's create a function. Check to see if someone won. And let's define this guy as what? Check if won, maybe? So this is going to be a jumbled mess, right? There's probably easier ways to do this, but I was in a hurry and I was like, we'll just do it this way. So first of all, let's create a new variable called global winner. And let's set winner to false, right? If there's already been a winner, winner will be changed to true and then the game will stop. Otherwise, we'll keep going. So, all right, we'll look at that in a minute. For now, let's go if B1 and if the text in B1 equals an X and, well, actually, let's run this guy real quick and look at this. And let's talk about what it means to win. So to win, you have to get across all the same thing here, or all the same thing here. Also, all the same thing going down here, or going down here. Also, all the same going diagonally through the middle this way and diagonally through the middle that way. So we need to run if statements for all of those things. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, at least 8 if statements to see if the things inside of each of those things are the same X's or O's, right? So this is gonna be a lot of if statements. It's gonna be really messy because, well, we'll just see why as we do this. So let's go the top row, that would be B1, B2, and B3, right? So if B1.text equals X and B2 text equals X and let's say B3 text equals X, what do we want to do? Well, first thing we want to do is change the color of the buttons to sort of designate that all three of them are the same. So we can go B1, let's scoot this over, there we go, .config, set the background to, I don't know, red, whatever you want. And let's just copy this and go B2 and B3. If that's the case, that means that person has won. So let's set winner to true. Let's also show a message box, right? So let's go message box dot, let's make this one show info. It's not really an error, right? And for the title, let's go Tic Tac Toe. And for the message, let's go X wins or congratulations, X wins, right? Whatever. And then we also want to disable all the buttons. So let's create a function called disable underscore all underscore buttons and just call it. And we'll come up here and say disable all the buttons. We'll make this one in a second. So define disable all buttons. We'll just pass for now. Okay, so that's our first if statement. That will handle if we have X's across the top row. So now let's go down to the next row, and we can just copy all of this. And instead of if, let's elif this guy. And this is going to be, so the first one was B1, B2, B3. 4, 5, and 6 is the next one down. So let's change this to 4, 5, and 6. And I apologize, this is just going to be tedious. Change this to 4, 5, and 6, right? This is just going to take a minute to do all of these. So that's 4, 5, and 6. So let's copy this again. And then 7, 8, 9 is the bottom row. So let's go 7, 8, 9. And here we'll go 7, 8, and 9. So that's for X's across each one. Now we need to go down. So let's start that up, right? Very tedious, right? So that's going to be B1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7, right? So 1, 4, and 7. So we change this to 1, 4, and 7, right? So, okay. That's down the first column. Now down the second column. Hang with me here, or fast forward a bit. We want 2, 5, and 8. That's the middle row, right? So that would be here 2. Hey, look at that, it's already 5. And 8. Okay, and finally, we want the last row down. So that would be, I think, 3, 6, and 9. So let's change this to 3, 6, and 9. Okay, so now we just need to do with the 2 crosses down the middle, right? So we got 2 more of these to do. Not too bad, right? I know, it's tedious. So let's go on more. That's going to be 1, 5, and 9. That's straight across like that. So 1, 5, and 9. Okay, and then finally the very last one for the X's. That's going to be the other way, 3, 5, and 7. So 3, 5, and 7, 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so that's all the X's, right? So now we need to check for O when. So I'm just going to grab all of this horrible code. And I challenge you to find a better way to do this with less lines of code. There are many ways, I just didn't take the time to do it. So now I'm going to come over here and paste all these, and we'll change the very first line to an elif, right? And now we just need to go through and change all of these to O's, which is just a huge hassle. So if you want to pause, so this is O, this is O, this is O, uh-oh. And we also need to change O wins. All right, so starting over here, this is O, and this is O. Congratulations, O wins. Anything else here? No, I think that's right. So, okay, so just come through here and change all these X's to O's. Same thing here. O, O, oh, and okay, I'm going to pause it right here and just go through and make all these changes. And when I go like this, we will have done it all. So, okay, so I went through there and changed all those to O's. Okay, one last thing before we fire this up. Let's work on this disable all buttons. So when the game ends, we want to disable all buttons so you can't make any more moves. So we created this little function here. And this one's easy. We can just go b1.config and then set the state of the button to disabled. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that works. Now this check if one function, did we call it from our clicked function? So let's head down to our clicked function. No, we did not. So every time somebody clicks, we need to check if they won. So remember, here is where if X clicks, here's where if O clicks. After that, we change their click to false, we add one to the count, and we check to see if won. So we call this function, it'll come through, do all of our if statements, and determine whether or not the person's won or not. So, okay, let's go ahead and save this and run it, see if we mess this up, which is entirely possible. So, okay, let's go X, O, X, O, X. Let's just go O here and see if we won. Boom, we won. Congratulations, X wins. We click this, boom, all the buttons are disabled. We can no longer click. Okay, so we're basically done. So now if we wanted to create a little menu item up here to reset this thing so we could play again, we can do that real quick. That's super easy. So let's just head down to the bottom here and create menu. And let's go my_menu. And that's gonna be a menu and we wanna put it in root. And let's go root.config and set menu to my_menu. So we've got our menu and create now options menu. So let's go options_menu. And this is going to be a menu and we want to put it in my menu. We want tear off to equal false. So the little dotted line isn't underneath that. That thing annoys me. And let's go my_menu.add_cascade. And then let's set a label and let's set this to options. And that's a lowercase l, not a capital L, right? And let's give this a menu of options_menu. We've done menus so many times in the past. This should be old hat. If you don't know how to do these, check the playlist for, videos on menus. So finally, let's go options_menu.add_command. And let's give this a label. There we go. There we go. Label equals, and let's go reset game or something, and give this a command of reset. Now we need to create this reset function. So let's head up to our reset, or head up to our function section, and let's go start the game over. So let's go define reset, and for now let's pass. So I don't want to type all of these buttons again. So instead of doing this up here, let's grab this and just come down to our button section and paste this in. And instead of defining all these buttons in the normal root, let's tab all this over and put it inside this reset function, right? But in order to use these buttons, in order to pass them through these commands, since it's in a function, we need to make them all global. So let's just do that. So let's go global, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, B6, B7, B8, and B9. And if you didn't know, you can globalize variables all in one line just by using commas. And we also need to global clicked and global count, I think, yeah. And then let's set clicked to true, just so we make sure the game starts out with X. And let's set the count to 0 to begin with. So now we can just call this reset function whenever the game starts. So just down here, boom, I'm just gonna hit reset like that. So, okay, let's save this and run it, see if this worked. We did that very quickly. So we can do some things. Now we want to start over. Okay, and maybe we could do a little error message that pops up, or a little info message that says, the game has started, go, X starts first or something, right? So let's see, let's go like this. And that worked. All of our buttons are disabled. We can come up here to options, reset game, start over. I want O to win this time. Whoops. I can't even make O win when I want them to win. All right, so let's try here, here. There we go. Now O finally wins. Congratulations, O wins. Okay, so finally we need to determine whether or not there's a tie, right? So if the game ends and there's no winner, what happens then? So in our, in our same check if one, we've got all these elifs, right? So if we come down to the bottom, let's just here check if tie. So remember, we've been keeping track of the count, right? So if count equals 9, right? So there are 9 spaces. So if we've gone 9 times, that means count will equal 9. And if winner equals false, because maybe on the 9th time, the person won. So that wouldn't be a tie, that person would won. So we need to make sure that the winner is false, right? Winner is true if you win. Otherwise, remember we set winner to be false. So if count is 9 and winner is false, let's just go message box. Let's go, I don't know, show info, put a little box up, and we want the title to say Tic Tac Toe. And what do we want the message to say? Something like, it's a tie, right? And then maybe a new line, no one wins, right? And then if that's the case, we still want to disable all the buttons because the game is over, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and save this and give this a shot. So now we have to purposely lose. There we go. XOX. Okay, so it's a tie. No one wins. Click this. It's disabled. We have to reset it, and we're good to go. So we went through that pretty fast, but a very basic thing. It's tic-tac-toe. It's not that complicated. And again, I do very much suggest that you go through this section here, this check if one, and see if you can find a better way to do it without all these lines of code. I can think of a couple of better ways to do it just right now as I'm typing it out. Like, why did I do it that way? I could have done it this way. So maybe as an exercise, go through and try and find a more elegant, less lined code way to do all of these if-else statements and see what you come up with. It might be a fun little exercise. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. They pay just $49 to access all my courses, over 45 courses, hundreds of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 100,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.